It's working. Okay. So, what have we been talking about for the past couple days? What event in history? Chloe?
The Trail of Tears.
Good, the Trail of Tears. What did the Trail of Tears entail? What was it about? Lexi?
I forgot his name, but he was like sending 7,000 people to go remove the tribes from their place, from their homes, over to the west of what river?
Does anyone remember the river?
Yeah, Mississippi.
Good. Yeah, the Mississippi. Good. So to piggyback on what Lexi said, who was the president? Servando?
Andrew Jackson.
Good. Jackson was the president, and he signed a policy, a new policy. Does anyone remember what that was?
A contract? The Native Americans.
Yeah, that the Native Americans couldn't have their land, so they called that the Indian Removal Act. Okay? And then that event caused kind of like a chain reaction of other things to happen. Okay? And that's what we read about on Monday, on Tuesday, and yesterday we read. Did everybody get to read online the article or the diary entry on Common Lit? Is there anyone who did not get to read that Common Lit? Okay, for those of you who did not, that might be another a good filler, another resource for you guys to use. So I'll put that on Google Classroom in a second when I'm done with this, okay? Because that'll be a good resource for you, another resource for you guys to use. Okay? So your assignment, now that we know about all of the events kind of leading up to it, there's 4 different assignments that you're going to choose. You'll be in groups of 4, which you can choose, and then each person will choose their own assignment within that group. Okay? Questions? All right. The first assignment is okay, a newspaper article. So someone in your group is essentially writing a summary of what happened. Okay, Christina? This is one of your options. Okay? So writing a newspaper article, meaning you need to have the answers to who it was involved, when did it happen, where did it happen, why did it happen. Okay? So answering those questions. You can pretend like you're interviewing someone and use just one quote for your newspaper article if you want to. So maybe you can, who are the different people on the Trail of Tears? They had the Native Americans, but who accompanied them? Chloe?
The soldiers and John Burnett.
Yeah, the soldiers, like John Burnett was one of them who we read about on Monday. Right? Okay. So we're going to try and make it sound like a real newspaper and real newspaper article. So here's an example newspaper article. You have your title will go up top. So on this paper, your newspaper article will go on top. You can print out a picture. Adam was kind of on top of it yesterday. So he actually sent me a picture on Google Drive and shared it with me. And I got to print that out for him since he knew what he was doing already yesterday. Okay? You'll need a picture, and you can hand draw the picture as well. Then you need to tell me who is writing it, which would be yourself. And then it starts off with the date. What year did the Trail of Tears happen?
1838.
It started in 1838. Their travel ended in 1839. So this newspaper article needs to be written after 1839. Okay? And then it tells me where it's being written. What are some places that were involved with the Trail of Tears? Where did they end? Liliana? Oklahoma. And where did it begin? What territories? There was a couple different ones. Do you guys remember like what states were involved? Georgia was one of them. Kentucky. Yeah, it was kind of that whole southeastern strip of the U.S. Okay? So this is kind of how we'll have it, how you'll have it structured. It will be on here. You need a minimum of 2 paragraphs. Okay? So a lot of writing involved in this one. Let me just throw that on the floor. It's fine. Okay. So your second option would be to write an obituary. What is an obituary? Okay, information about a person, but when is it written?
When they died.
Good. It's written after they died.
Oh, Mara's dead.
So these are some fake obituaries, okay? Just so you guys can get kind of an idea of what it's like. These are a little satirical. They're sarcastic almost. But an example would be Mario. It has the year he was born and the year he died. For you guys, since you're writing about the year someone died on the Trail of Tears, what years could that be? 1838 or 1839. You can make them however old you want them to be. You'll need to do a little math to figure out, okay, if they were born in 1818, how old would they be in 1839, okay? But you'll have the dates. Then you'll have some background information about them. You'll include, and the directions are on Google Classroom, but you'll include something about maybe who their family is, what are some accomplishments they've had in their life, how they died. What are some ways that people could have died on the Trail of Tears? Disease, famine, hunger, famine, freezing temperature, yep, like hypothermia.
Because not everyone has women.
Okay, women during childbirth. Anything else?
Just being tired. Not all of them didn't have
they said, yeah, from like weakness, from exhaustion. What did you say, Lexi? Sorry.
They died because of the cold because all of them didn't have blankets.
Yeah, that's that hypothermia. Yeah, dying from the weather. And what?
Some of them walked on bare feet.
Yep, some of them left and they had very minimal clothing. They didn't have shoes or other necessities to go on this very long journey. Good. So an example obituary, Mario, it says, "It is with sadness we announce the passing of a wonderful Italian plumber. Mario passed away after walking into a skeleton of a turtle and falling into lava." We find, well, isn't that true? Isn't that what happens to Mario? We find peace in knowing that he died doing what he loved, punching bricks and shooting fireballs out of his hands. Mario was the loving brother of Luigi and possible boyfriend of Princess Peach. It says girlfriend. That's a misprint. Sometimes that happens in the newspaper. There will not be misprints in your newspapers, though, right? Because you guys will actually edit yourselves. Okay, and then these are some other fun ones, but we'll skip over that for now. Okay, if you are doing the interview, and Christina, this would be another one that you can do. You are creating both the person who is being interviewed and the person who is interviewing. Okay, you have to act as both of those people. The questions that you're going to ask, you need to have at least 6, and those questions need to elicit a longer response than just, how old were you when you were on the Trail of Tears? Does that make sense?
63.
Yeah. So that would be a very short answer, right? So we can have, what are some questions that you would want to ask a Native American who was on the Trail of Tears? Chloe?
How did they treat you?
Okay, good. How were you treated? That's something that the Native American could really elaborate on. Zainab?
How did you feel when you got kicked out of your house?
How did it feel when you got kicked out of your home? Perfect. Lexi?
Was there anything that happened before you left?
Okay, was there anything that happened before you left? Or maybe even asking them to describe their life before they were kicked out. Okay? Very good. And then you will act, so you'll have those 6 questions. Then you will act, look at your responses based on what that Native American would say. So you're switching your point of view, your perspective, right? So if I'm switching to the Native American point of view, how would I maybe start my answer? If the question was, how was life before you were kicked out of your home, how might they start that out? Adam?
My life was immense.
Good. So my life was, okay, using that first person point of view. Does that make sense? Okay. Here's an interview example. Now this part, interviews are going to be typed. So I have a rough draft paper that you guys can write for the interview, but the actual interview itself is going to be typed and turned in on Google Classroom, and then I'll print it for you guys to put in the actual newspaper. I don't know. Making mistakes. Okay, so when you have an interview, you should have the person that you're interviewing, their name at the top, and then some sort of title that goes along with what the interview's about. Then you can have, again, you can have a picture, and if you guys want to get that picture off of Google Images and just plop it onto your Google Doc, that'll be fine because I can print that. And then when you start off an interview, we haven't done this in the past when we did the interview. When did we do the interview last time? What was the assignment?
It was immigrants. Yeah.
Oh, for the immigrants, right. So we just kind of jumped right into, here's the question, here's the answer. But in an actual interview that's printed in the newspaper, they usually have a paragraph of some background information about the person that they're interviewing, okay? So this example said, writer and DJ David Haslam grew up in Birmingham and moved to Manchester in 1980. He ran his own successful fanzine, Debris, from 1983 to 87, interviewing many local musicians. So they're going and they're giving you the background information that you need to know, because this is all going to be about a guy in his musical career, and that's where the interview is going, okay? Notice that when you get down to the actual questions, do you need to label who's asking the questions? How do you know what the questions are, Esterlyn? What would be your guess? If you're looking at this format, what's the question? How can you tell the question from the answer? Just take a guess. Well, okay, there's a question mark? No, you're fine. What else? What else kind of separates the questions from the answers? Chelsea? Yeah, the question is bolded, and then the response is just in normal text. So that is how you will format that on Google Classroom or Google Drive. Questions about the interview? All right, last one is a graphic strip. So it's kind of like a comic, but this obviously is not like a funny topic. So I'm calling it a graphic strip because this person is essentially going to do a summary of the story, but use pictures to demonstrate what happened on the Trail of Tears. So what you'll need is 6 major events. On the graphic strip, there are 6 different boxes, so you need those 6 events. Oh, Darda, can you shut the door? Thank you. Huh? Looks like. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's okay. So you have the 6 major events, and in each bubble you'll have, or in each section, you'll have a thought/speech bubble. Why do you need that? What does a thought or a speech bubble do in a cartoon? Maddie?
Shows what they're either thinking or saying.
Good. It shows what the characters are either thinking or what they're saying. Then you'll also need, at the top, some sort of explanation, very short, maybe just a sentence, of what each event is. Okay? So for us, what's the very first event that we talked about that would start off, if I wanted to create my own comic right here? What would be my first event that I would put in there?
How they signed the treaty thing.
Yeah, how President Jackson signed the treaty. So I would start by saying President Jackson, and it wasn't a treaty, the first one, signed the Indian Removal Act. Yeah, no, that's okay. Because they did sign a treaty after that gave the land in exchange for $5 million? Is that the amount?
Yeah.
Okay. So President Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act. Then for my picture, I would probably have, so here is the actual,
I know that was a tree.
the act. We'll say this is the Indian Removal Act. You'll have Jackson's signature at the bottom right, and then maybe you'll have Jackson signing it with a pencil. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if you guys will have this kind of artistic ability, but I hope you try.
Yeah.
And then you can even add, what would be something that he might have said?
I don't like it.
Okay, or,
I think I'm doing the right thing.
okay, maybe he thought, I'm doing the right thing.
I'm helping them out. I'm getting them.
Well, yeah, it did say that he kind of looked at them as children and he thought that he was helping them out.
Yeah.
So you can use a quote from one of the articles if you want. Okay? Does this make sense? Questions, comments, concerns? Servando.
How is he helping them? He didn't move into the boat.
It was from his perspective. He said, well, the white settlers are going to come in and they're going to harass them anyway. So if I give them this new land and I move them even though this land has belonged to them forever.
Yeah, that is a
Well,
lie.
they're absolutely, and this all relates back to that integrity.
The thing to do is just the way he made them do it.
You don't think it was the wrong thing to do?
No, we also because the white men and the land, like the way that they made them, like they didn't like take them on horses or stuff. They just made them walk.
Okay. So, okay, how many of you think it was right for them to take their land?
No, none.
They gave them worse land.
They also gave them
They did give them worse land. Well, they gave them 2 years to leave, but what does that mean? Well, it says that they're going to move them out anyway, but my question is, did they have the right to? Should they have taken that land in the first place? Well, yeah, absolutely, and they were there first, right? That was their land.
I know, but this is a child too. You say, well, we will have clothes.
Well, there were, and that Servando, that common lit, are those diary entries, that's on the common lit, and it's really short. You guys can read it. Actually, maybe, all right, you know what I'll do is, if you are interested in reading that common lit article, I'll just have you guys bring a Chromebook and you can come and read with me. And then that way you'll have a little bit more information, especially if you're someone who doesn't know really where to start. We can see what kind of information we can pull from that. Okay? Who would like to read that common lit article with me before they do their assignment? Lexi? Servando? Okay.
Oh, never mind.
No, that's okay.
Never mind.
No, I'll pull Lexi, Servando, Esterlyn, I'll pull you. It's a really quick reading. Oh my goodness. Don't you love reading with me?
No.
Thank you, Kelsey. All right, and then Jasmine, I'm going to pull you too. Okay? All right. Assignments are up here. Groups, why don't you guys do this? Get into groups of 4 now. Move with your group of 4.
I love reading with you, Miss Emanuele.
Well, you guys have Ethan, right?
I don't like Servando. Her name is not teacher.
And type it up like the example. Huh? Yes. I will. Okay. Yeah. All right. I checked my minutes yesterday.
Servando. No. Esterlyn.
So that you guys
No. You sit right there and you sit right there. Tunnel. Yes.
All right. Let's go, guys.
Move. No. I'm bringing that. Servando, come sit next. I know, I heard it. Come sit next. No. All you people do is fight and talk. Sit over here. No.
All right, Lexi and Servando and Jasmine and Esterlyn, grab your computers to log on to Common Lit. All right, what are you guys doing? No. And you're going to end up typing that, Chloe. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, it's still recording.
Don't have to work.
Just kidding.
Wait, is that still recording?
Yeah.
Recording?
Hi, it's fine. All right, everyone should be with their group and they should have their assignment. Christina, did you make your choice?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so where is Chloe. The assignment is posted. Oh, I already did it. Never mind. No, I didn't.
Whoa.
The interview rough draft. Did I do that?
How long are we gonna be here? The rest of the class. Really?
No.
What, 5 minutes? Hope so.
This is Commonwealth
All right. So we're just gonna read that article. Okay. On Common Lit. Yep. So go to Common Lit. Actually, you know what? I'll post. Let me post the link on Classroom so it's easier to get to.
But what if you're already at it?
You're already on Common Lit at the article. Oh, okay.
Oh, the
That's fine.
article. Which one?
See, it's the Trail of Tears article. Let me post it. What? Did you find your interview, Adam?
Yeah, it was my backpack.
Okay.
Oh my. Got it. I can play the game. Got it.
Huh? So it's supposed to be, remember I showed you guys the interview scene, it had one paragraph should be folded, and then
No.
the question.
Hello. You can't hear us. I don't get what's happening with the
No, I'm posting it right now.
Did you not see the exact same picture right here? Oh, oh God.
Okay.
Right.
Huh?
Common Lit here. Oh my God. This is so boring. How did you guys have to click if you want to be Well, never mind. I don't want to be
Yeah, Chloe. I have no idea. Yeah. Log in with Google. Oh, it's because you haven't logged in since you just got here. You haven't logged in. Okay. Okay. Log in with Google. And I'm just gonna ask you for a code. Give me 1 second. I'll get you the code. All right. Are you guys at the article?
Yeah.
Excerpt from the Trail of Tears diary. Good. So, Jasmine, will you go ahead and read? Okay. Do me a favor and go ahead and start reading. Read in the gray box. Okay, do it. Yep.
The Trail of Tears is a village to the forest and location of Native American nation following the Indian Removal Act of 1830. The removal included many members of tribes who did not have work to
Try it. Try to break it up into smaller pieces. Close. Say it one more time. Assimilate. So do you see where it says next to assimilate how it has that little number? Okay, go ahead and click on that number. And what does that do? It gives you the definition. So what does assimilate mean?
To conform to the customs, attitudes, and habits of a group or nation.
So what do you think that means in your own words? Esterlyn, what do you think assimilate means? So they give us the definition. It means to conform to the customs, attitudes, and habits of a group or nation. Conform seems kind of like a confusing word, right?
Yeah.
Does anyone know what conform means?
What?
Conform?
To do.
Okay, that's a good guess. We're getting there. So it says that if someone is going to assimilate, they're going to conform to customs, attitudes, and habits of a group. So if they wanted the Native Americans to assimilate into American culture, if we use assimilate in a sentence, What did they want the Native Americans to do? They wanted them to change their culture. They wanted them to.
They wanted to be like, they wanted, the white man wanted the natives to be like them.
Exactly. They wanted them to take on their culture. Okay, good. Go ahead and you can finish.
Many Native Americans suffered from disease and exposure, and somewhere between 2,000 to 6,000 Cherokee died on the trail. The trail peers diary includes interviews that reveal the extraordinary
Yeah, say it again. You said it right.
resilience
Mm-hmm.
of the Native American nations during the trail. As you read, take notes on how the perspectives of two Native American interviews differ.
So what's the question? What are we looking at as we read? What do they want us to do?
Take notes
From the perspective of Native Americans.
Okay, so what does that mean? What do they want us to look at?
So like, they want me to like take notes on like two different Native Americans and then
Yeah, so they want to look at their differences. Good. About what does perspective mean?
their point of view.
Yeah, their point of view on the Trail of Tears. They want to know. You're showing the differences between what these two people think based on their interview. Okay. All right. So let's go down to the first interview, and who is that with, Lexi?
Billy Bird, like Beard.
Oh, okay. That is the person who wrote it. Look at above that where it says interview with.
Mary Hill.
Good. And what year was this interview done?
1937.
How long after the Trail of Tears is that?
3 years.
It's before
3 years.
1 year before. Oh no, wait, it's a year.
It's a year.
I thought it was
What year?
1939.
Was it in 1939?
It's 99 years old.
Yeah, because it was the Trail of Tears was 1839. So this was 1937. So could this lady, if she's only 47, could she have been on the Trail of Tears?
No, but one of her grandparents might have been.
That's a good inference to make.
Because, like, my friend, she told me that her grandfather was gonna board the Titanic, and I know that's true because the last name was Hansen, and because it was like over 100 years ago.
Okay. Oh, Gavin's little sister?
Yeah,
Right.
Elena.
Yeah. I can never remember that number. Okay, so we're going to read the interview where we know that this person wasn't on the Trail of Tears, but like Lexi said, perhaps it was like a grandparent since it was 100 years ago. All right? Servando, will you read for us first?
Yeah. Do I read the April 19?
Yeah.
April 19, 1938. Billy Bird, research field worker, S-149, Mary Hill, Muskogee.
I think it's Muskogee.
Muskogee tribe. Oh, I can't say that one.
Just try it. It's a Native American town.
Oh, Spooky town. Tula, Akuma,
It's okay.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
The migration to the west of Muskogee.
Muskogee. Yep. So if we click next to Muskogee, what does it say?
A Native American nation now located primarily in Oklahoma, Georgia, and eastern Alabama.
So where did, if Mary Hill lives in Oklahoma now, but where did her tribe originate? Georgia and parts of Alabama. Good. All right, go ahead, Servando. You can read that first paragraph.
All right. Many years ago, my grandmother, Sally Carney, who was among those that made the trip west of Alabama, often told of the trip as follows.
Yeah, you can keep going.
In every way, we were
Let's see if we can use, if we don't know the word, it's fine, but let's see if you can use.
Like they were blessed a lot.
They were blessed a lot. So what do we think abundantly might mean?
Like God. I don't know.
Well, Servando said that in every way they were abundantly blessed. Maybe they were what? Usually blessed. Or Servando said like maybe a lot. They had a lot of blessings. So maybe abundantly means a lot. Good.
And every day, in our everyday life, in the old country, we had our hunting grounds, and all the things that we are dear to the heart or interests of the Indian. The council meeting was mostly composed of men, but there were few times when every member of the town was requested to attend the meeting.
Okay. Esther, let me read the next part.
One of the leaders went on the rest was left in the hall, visited the different homes and gave encouragement to believe that Alabama was to be the permanent home. The permanent home.
There you go.
Muscular tribe. Many different rumors of the removal to the far west was
Good. So if you're writing about, are any of you doing the interview? No.
I'm doing comic.
You're doing the
well,
graphic?
You know that.
What are you doing? You're doing the article? You're doing the newspaper?
I'm doing the
Obituary?
yeah.
Okay. So what this could kind of help with, if any of you are going to talk about what life was like before they were taken off of their land, this beginning part might be helpful. Okay? All right. Jasmine, you can do the next one.
The command for removal came unexpectedly upon most of us. There was a time that we noticed that several overloaded wagons were passing our, yet we did not grasp the meaning. However, it was not long until we found out the reason. Wagons stopped at our home, and the men in charge commanded us to gather what few belongings could be crowded into the wagons. We were to be taken away and leave our homes, never to return. This was just the beginning of much weeping and heartache.
Good. So Jasmine, if you're doing the newspaper article, when you start talking about them being forced out of their home, you can use part of this article and maybe take a quote from what she's saying, and you can turn that into your own quote, right? Because this is a historical fiction, so some of it can be made up, but based on the facts that we're gaining from this. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you want to do the next part, Lex?
Yeah. We were taken to a proudly
You said it right the first time.
crudely building stockade.
Oh, hold on, wait. See how you see that 3?
Yeah.
What's a stockade?
Stockade is a barrier formed from upright wooden posts or stacks.
It has that E at the end, so it changes the A to
Stakes.
the long. There you go. So what is that? A barrier formed from upright wooden posts or stakes. What's another word that you can think of that kind of
Like a
sounds
teepee.
like? Okay, maybe like a teepee. Anything else? If you're in kind of like a box with all of these wooden stakes around it, and they're not allowed to leave, they were forced into them. What does that almost sound like?
The maker.
The biggest runner. Okay. Well, they're forced in there like without
Yeah.
kind of their permission, without wanting to be there. Where else are you kind of would you be forced to stay, even though you don't want to be there?
Oh no. Ooh.
Yeah.
The corner.
Okay. So it's so when you're little, it would be something like
Or
you're
the
forced
mean
into
chair.
the corner, the mean chair. or something.
I
But when you
sat
get
in
older,
the
it's almost
chair.
like a prison or a jail. They're not allowed to
Jail.
leave, right? Okay. All right. Keep going, Lex.
Okay. And joined others for our tribes. We were kept pinning up until everything was already before we started on the march.
All right. Try that sentence again.
We were kept pinning up until
Does that make sense? Pinning up?
depending, no, no.
You're fine. You're adding sounds to the beginning.
Pending.
So break it up small. What's P-E-N?
Pen.
Now add
Pen.
It just 10. The N just
Pen.
continues on. Pen, and now add ed.
Penned.
Penned.
Pen.
What does it mean if you're penned?
No, not depending.
What do you think it means
I
if you're
keep on
penned?
thinking of the pending.
Well, think about, where do you keep like little kids?
In a
I
place.
keep them in a box.
Well, when they're in like that little, when they're in the little,
I'm not a good babysitter.
what is that called?
Playpen.
Playpen. They're in a playpen. So they kept the Native Americans penned up. What do you think
can
that
keep
means?
children lots of ways.
Like locked up or kept in one place, kept in that stockade that they built. Okay. All right, keep going, Lexi.
Up until everything was ready before we started on the march. Even here, there was the awful silence that showed the heart catches.
Is there a C in there?
Yes, there is. CH.
Yep, there is. But you're saying heart catches.
Heart etches.
Does that make sense?
Heart.
Keep reading. Keep reading and see if you can figure out.
In sorrow.
What does sorrow mean?
Sad.
Sad. So would you have heart? What's happened if you're really sad? Do you have a heart atch? Would that make sense?
Heart attack.
Okay. So it was really quiet and it showed heart attack.
No.
Heartaches.
What is that?
What's a heartache? That's a good way to put it. Like what happens when your head aches? It hurts, right? What do you think? What happens if your heart aches? Do you think they mean physically, like, oh my heart hurts?
like they were hurt.
Unless you have like heartburn or something.
Yeah, they were hurt mentally. Good, Servando. Yeah, they were hurt like mentally. It hurt them. What's up? Paper. Which one are you gonna do? That. Okay, so you can do this, or you can create an interview. So you can pretend that you're both asking questions and you're answering questions. So this would be you're an interviewer, and this you would pretend like you're one of the Native Americans answering the question. Or you can write a newspaper article, which is kind of like a summary of what happened on the Trail of Tears.
So like his age and his like how he died and stuff.
That's the obituary. That's something different.
Oh, why can't I do that?
Because you already have Caitlin doing obituaries in that group. So this would be writing more of a summary.
Okay.
Okay? Is that okay? Would you rather do the summary or would you rather do the interview? Or I can pop you into Adam's group and you can do the obituary.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay, so if I did the obituary, I would put like his birth and like his death and how.
And then there's more specific directions on Google Classroom too of the information needed for the obituary.
Okay. I want to do
Okay.
that.
All right. So you'll do one female, one male. An obituary for a female Native American who died on the trail, and one for a male who died on the trail.
Oh, I already have a male, but I don't know if I passed. Okay.
That's okay. Remember, Christina, it's historical fiction, so you can use part fact, and you can also like make up the character's name if you want. Yes, Adam.
I finished the interview paper. Do I type it in the Google Classroom?
Yep, go on to Google Classroom, and it says right on there the interview. It says, I think it says Trail of Tears interview, and there's a template on there, and you can type in your interview on there. Okay. Because I know you're taking time in your sketches and you're not just drawing stick figures, you need to keep it in black and white. Okay? All right. Sorry. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Okay.
bye.